What's up? It's been a while since I've made my last EDC update video. Some things have changed, some things have stayed the same. The most changes actually happened in my EDC Backpack, but that's not what we're talking about today. That will be featured in an upcoming video, so stay tuned if that's something that you're interested in. But today we are going to talk about all of the things that I carry on my person on an almost daily basis. Let's get into it. Well, first of all, I think it is needless to say that there will always be some variation in the things that I carry day to day, just because of what I'm doing, where I'm going, etc. That's kind of just the way that life works, but I do have the goal to set up my EDC in such a way that I have to change it as rarely as possible. So let's get right into it. One item that hasn't changed for a good while now is my iPhone. I still do carry the iPhone 13 Pro. It still works beautifully, and I'm planning to rock this for at least another 1 or 2 years. It's a great phone and I'm very happy to have it. I have, however, invested in a quad lock case for my iPhone and mounts for my mountain bike and motorcycle, and I love it. This allows me to mount and dismount my phone with just a little twist and the push of a button. It locks in place very securely, and that case does also feel very strong and surprisingly high quality, even though it's not exactly good looking or low profile. Can't have it all, I guess. I try to commute to work on either my motorcycle or my mountain bike as often as the weather and my calendar allows me to, so this comes in handy very frequently. And I'm also planning to, at least at some point, upgrade the mount on my motorcycle to a wireless charging mount so that battery life won't be an issue on longer tours. Anyway, now to my wallet of choice, and right now I do not actually carry a wallet. What I do carry, however, is this guy, which is called the Card Caddy by Hitch and Timber. I bought it about 4 or 5 years ago and have used it every now and again, and I recently stumbled across it while sorting out my EDC stuff and decided to give it another go. Some of you might have seen my recent video about the Taros Camp Grain wallet being the greatest wallet ever, and I totally still stand by that. But I switched to carrying this thing for 2 specific reasons. The first reason being that I just like the variety, and EDC is kind of almost a hobby to me. But more importantly, because previously I didn't have a really great way to carry my Leatherman style PS, which has become an absolute staple in my EDC system. We will get to the style PS in just a minute, but coming back to the Card Caddy, this is a almost cashless system only. I can squeeze 3 cards in the back, with those cards being my driver's license, credit card and health insurance. I also carry a bit of spare cash in the front, just in case I go to a place where they don't accept credit cards, but there's no way to put any coins in here, which is why I will pay everything with my card if I can. The pen I carry is a classic. It's the Fisher Space Pen in matte black. It's light, writes decently well, has a no-nonsense cap system and looks kind of nice. It's good enough for astronauts, so it's good enough for my occasional writing needs. Now for the style PS, I don't think I have to say much about it because it's a classic in the EDC world at this point. Especially because it's a knifeless multi-tool and advertised as being TSA friendly, which means that you should be able to take it with you on a plane or to other places where blades are prohibited. Also, it's just a very handy tool and I tend to use it multiple times every day. It features a small pair of spring-loaded pliers, a nail file that also doubles as a small flathead screwdriver, a small pair of spring-loaded scissors, a small pair of tweezers, and this carabiner that also doubles as a bottle opener. The pliers might be too small for some heavy-duty jobs, but they still allow you to cut through small wires, grab onto round objects, and do some finer and more precise tasks. Also, they just enable you to get into tight spaces and grab things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach, like getting something out that has fallen under your car seat. Also, and this will ruffle some feathers, I mostly use these scissors to open packages as I hate getting that tape residue on my main blade. And that is a great segue to talk about this beauty. This stunning looking object is called the Heidi No. 1 by Bestech. As you can see, it's a fixed blade. It sports a 3mm thick and 7.9mm long blade made from glorious M390 steel with a stone-washed finish. So edge retention is not an issue, and the whole thing weighs in at just 70 grams. The handle is made from green micarta with the Knife and Tools exclusive version here, But there are also other versions with G10 or carbon fiber handles. It comes with a Kydex sheath, and because of its very slim overall profile, it sits incredibly comfortable in your pockets and barely shows even in the tightest of jeans. Because of this and because of its weight, it is actually easier and more comfortable to carry than most folding knives I own. Aside from that, I just enjoy the blade geometry. It's a great slicer, and because the handle is so slender and the blade itself is fairly wide, it actually touches your cutting surface before your fingers do, a bit like a kitchen knife. And that just makes it great for food processing, which is why I now use it almost daily to dice up some fresh fruits for my yogurt, but also when I'm out hiking and preparing some snacks. Freshly cut meat, cheese, veggies and fruit just taste better than food that has been prepared and cut up some time in advance, maybe even in some factory a few weeks ago. Now that's of course personal preference, so let's not fight about it, because it's a touchy subject. All I can say is that this knife makes the whole process of preparing food on the go easier and more fun. On the other side, this knife is still big and strong enough for some light woodworking and even bushcrafting tasks. You can even use it to baton through smaller logs and get a fire going with the sharp 90-degree spine without any issues. Easy pips. It does everything I could ever ask a knife that fits in my pocket to do, while still being very slim, unobtrusive and lightweight. And it's also just a beautiful timeless object. And if I ever go anywhere where taking a knife is simply not allowed, I can just take it out of my pockets and still have my Leatherman style PS. I also always carry a flashlight, even in the summer, because rather often when I go out to ride my bike to work in the morning or I go out for a walk in the evening, it's either still dark or about to get dark. So having a flashlight with me is just sort of a necessity, because if I wouldn't be carrying this all of the time, I would most likely just forget it. Now with flashlights, I currently do have two favorites that I cycle between on a regular basis. One is the Nightcore Tiny 2 and the other is the Lumentop FWAA. I got the Nightcore a few years back straight from Nightcore for a review and I have used it ever since. It's small, can pump out up to 500 lumens, it shows what mode you are in and how much time you have left in that mode, and you can see the battery charge in a pinch. It's also waterproof, charges via USB-C and fits in my coin pocket. It's pretty much perfect. Runtime is great for what it is, but obviously it's somewhat limited because of its small form factor. It's also not exactly the prettiest flashlight ever, but still, just because how easy it is to use and how convenient, it's certainly one of my all-time favorite flashlights. But if I ever need something with a bit more punch or I'm wearing pants without a coin pocket, I'm going to bring this guy, the Lumentop FWAA. This little guy is made from sandblasted titanium. It is obviously bigger than the Nightcore Tiny 2, but it is still fairly pocketable and it is powered by a 14500 lithium-ion battery. It has an incredible max output of 1400 lumens and a very nice tail button action. It has all kinds of modes and a very capable user interface that allows for all kinds of customization. Best of all, it is very sturdy, looks fantastic, and can also show you how much of a charge you have left, albeit a bit more clumsy than the Tiny 2 by just blinking a certain number of times to indicate the voltage. Overall, it's a fantastic light. Certainly more powerful and more capable than the Tiny 2, but also a bit bigger. Both have their unique pros and cons, and both get used on a regular basis. Switching gears now, let's talk about my watch of choice, which is the Junghans Maxbill in the 34mm case. It's a hand-winding mechanical watch. It has those great and very clean and classy looking Bauhaus aesthetics. It's incredibly light on the wrist. The acrylic glass has, much to my own surprise, held up incredibly well over the years, and it is by now my absolute favorite watch of all times. I like my Apple Watch for its functionality, but it also gets annoying and I hate how it looks, and while I do love my Sin 104, it's just not as nice to carry as the Junghans. Even though the Sin is by no means a big or heavy watch, and it certainly still also has a place in my rotation. The Maxbill, however, is just right. I actually enjoy having to wind it for a few seconds every morning. I like that it doesn't have a date window, so I don't have to reset the date every other month. And again, it is just so slim and lightweight. I wear it on a leather strap made by Hirsch, here in Germany. Amazing quality, and it still looks great even after years of usage. And I think it just fits the aesthetic of the Maxbill very well. Just for reference, I have a 7¼ inch wrist and I don't think the 34mm watch looks too small or wimpy on me. Anyway, the last item on my list might be a bit of a surprise, but it's actually a cotton handkerchief. Now, I haven't carried a hank for a long time, even though I actually used to a few years back, and I've almost forgotten how useful they are. Back in the days, I used to carry more fancy hanks by custom makers like Fox hanks, but nowadays these are just cotton rectangulars from Amazon. They do, however, still do the trick, and they allow me to dry off my hands or wipe something off if I have to in a pinch. Good stuff and barely takes up any space in my pocket. Highly recommended. And that's it for the EDC gear that I carry on my person. Let's just quickly talk about my keys though. I usually carry them in my jacket or bag or backpack, which is why I haven't included them here. I currently use a Barrow magnetic key fob that I hook to my car keys. I also have a Travex link for my motorcycle keys, because I can operate that guy even when I'm wearing gloves. And I've also put a small pill container on there, which houses my earplugs. But yeah, that's really it. I hope this was interesting to you. Stay tuned for my EDC Backpack video. Until then, take good care. Bye bye.